you very much for that lovely introduction. And the last part, of course, I am an alumna of Doon International School, so that makes me very proud, extremely very proud, standing here in front of you all with the teachers and the fellow students in crowd who come from the same alma mater. Now, you know, speaking is a part of my job, right? I do that for a living, not just shouting, speaking. It has put me in trouble. I have been in trouble because of my speaking habits. Speaking out of turn, speaking too much, asking too many questions, etc., etc. But speaking is also liberating. Now, you heard a lot of people talking in the last hour and so, and it gives you a sense of confidence that you're heard, that you are making a change, that you are perhaps delivering on your duties by communicating to the people what you know. But, as I said, speaking can also put you in trouble. Now, as a child, I spoke a lot. Now, my mother is in the crowd, and she can vouch for that. I spoke a lot. And who likes children who talk a lot, right? Absolutely zero value addition. They keep chatting all the time. The sky is blue, the floor is dark. And of course, you know, there's a mosquito, there's a cockroach, and there's absolutely no value addition. And so you tell your child to shut up. Like literally every parent that I've known, I'm not a parent, so it doesn't come from experience, but literally every parent that I've known eventually end up telling their children to please shut up. And then a child goes to school. And I have a lot of teachers here in the crowd, and I can still see you. So with a show of hands, how many teachers actually like children who ask a lot of questions? Like. I see a hand or two. Well, you're brave. I'm not. I also teach as an adjunct professor. I teach bachelors of journalism, and I don't like kids who question a lot. You know, it's more like it's a power equation. It's like you'll get there eventually, just listen to me first, remain quiet. And when, of course, you go to the workforce, there's absolutely no way in which you can question anyone, right? You're not expected to raise your voice. You're expected to clock in the working hours. 9 o'clock you start, 5 p.m. you clock out, and that's about it. So that is the journey a person in this country travel from childhood to being an adult. That sums up. So there's a culture of silence that we are all part of, especially in this country. We do not like people who ask a lot of questions. I mean, talk about journalists who ask a lot of questions. Next day, you have a CBI raiding your house. So that makes me very scared. That makes a lot of people very scared. In my job, I get paid for questioning, and even then I can't. Forget about the rest of the people. So what happens as a result is that I think I missed a slide here. Yeah, in school, as you can see, teachers don't want you to talk a lot. So there's this entire culture of silence that I was talking about, and as a result of which, we are very scared to speak our mind, right? We're very scared to ask anything that's going to make the other person uncomfortable. Now, if you are a girl child and you manage to come into this world without dying in the womb of your mother, by the way, India is the country with highest number of infanticide. So we have the highest number of infanticide, which means annually, highest number of girl child is killed in this country as opposed to any other country in the world. Now, if you do manage to come out of the womb alive, and that's a big if, there are a lot of boxes that you're put into. Like, you're a troublemaker, you're a misfit, you're too loud if you speak up. So you're absolutely not allowed to raise your voice. I mean, it's much harder, and not just from a personal point of view. By the way, there is an experience there, but traditionally, from the point of view of research, if you are a woman who can speak, if you are a woman who has a voice, you are more likely to be targeted and be hated for it. And I can at least vouch for a lot of women who are sitting here in this auditorium who will agree when I say it's difficult to be a woman and to raise your voice. It is difficult to be a woman and to be able to speak without being put in one of these boxes. Yeah? You're being put in a box. You're either bossy, you're rebellious, you are misfit, you're not meant to be here, you're too loud, you're not a marriage-appropriate material, nobody would marry you. right? So that happens to all the children, nearly all the children that we know of. As a result of which, we become yes men. It's a cultural paradox, right? I mean, India is also a country that gives the world's best of leaders. You talk about IT sector, you talk about scientists, you talk about business leaders. Most popular and important people who are at the helm of power are Indians. So it's a cultural paradox. A culture that doesn't really appreciate you thinking is also a culture that wants you to think out of the box. A culture that doesn't appreciate you talking is also a culture that wants you to talk, right? So we don't get there in a day. Some of us are able to let go of our inhibitions, let go of what we've been taught over the years, and end up speaking our mind. Most of us are yes men. Now, who are yes men? Yes men are the people who agree with everything that's happening around them, right? We agree. We don't disagree. We are like, okay, this is fine. If someone's serving this to us, it must be fine. If the government has rolled out a policy, it's fine. Let's agree with everything, right? As one of my co-speakers said, fence sitters, like we love to sit on the fence. Why have an opinion when you can get away without having an opinion? Now, what does that result into? That results into a herd of people who are doomed because you question nothing. You ask nothing of the people in power. You do not question existing practices right in front of your eyes. You can't even see them most of the times. And what are these practices? Discrimination, casteism, inequality, homophobia. All these things that happen on a daily basis at our homes, at our workplaces, in and around us. Now, with a show of hand again, how many of you have a utensil at your home in which you ask your house help to eat food and it's different from yours? With a show of hand, that's my first hand here. My first hand here. Anybody? Yeah, I see no hand, or I see a couple of hands. All right. So some of us do, right? And the reasoning that we are given from a very early on is that, look, the reason is that, they're not clean. Like there's a cleanliness factor that's brought in that because they're not very clean, and it's important that they have separate utensils. But they are the people who are cleaning your house. They are the people who are cooking for you. They are the people who are literally helping you in your daily chores. If they are unclean, so is your house, so are you, so is what you're eating, right? Nobody really bothers to ask, what is the caste of the person who's cooking your food? What is the caste of the person who's driving your vehicle every day? Why is it that a caste of a person will determine who they are and what they do? Some time back, I said in a debate that I haven't come across a Brahmin or a Rajput or a Kshatriya, Brahmin or a Brahmin cobbler. I have not come across a Rajput cobbler. I've only come across cobblers from a certain caste or house helps from a certain caste. And a lot of people wrote to me saying, what is wrong with you? Brahmins are also poor. What is wrong with you? Kshatriyas are also poor. What is wrong with you? Caste system doesn't exist. What they conveniently forgot is that you choose to be a cobbler if you are a Brahmin in absence of any economic opportunities, not because you've been asked to do it or it's your destiny to do it. So it happens every day, and it manifests day on day. Now, also, something important that I missed. If you are a woman again, and I think the picture changes entirely for a woman, because as a woman, you're not supposed to question at all, as I was mentioning. I'm married to an army officer, and I'm often told, why do you live alone? Like, why do you not live with your husband? So, fair point. I mean, I'm a woman who speaks. What value can I add anyway? Right? I'm a woman journalist. I'm not adding any value. So, as a woman, you add lesser value. But overall, don't question, stay mum. That's the mantra of moving forward. As I said, a culture of paradox, a culture that wants you to exceed, a culture that wants you to succeed. Speak your mind, but at the same time, don't speak your mind. Now, when all of this happens, because you are quiet, because you're not you're letting things fester, you're not questioning anything, you're letting them be, we see these headlines popping up every day. So, inequality, hunger, rape, women safety, not important enough, by the way, human rights violation, caste killing, literally every other day. Now, this also happens because most of us, by the time we reach our late 20s, we become good Germans, right? Who are good Germans? Good Germans are the people who trust the people in power. People who think that those in power are going to do right by you, that it's not your business to intervene, that it's not your business to speak, it's the business of the journalist to speak, that it's not your business to participate. And you don't move until it hits your home. So your neighbor is killed because there was a caste violence. Somebody around you was hurt because they decided to lynch that person. Farmers are sitting on the border, but how does it matter to us? We are getting our food, right? So we don't participate, we don't speak, and the most we do is by writing a Facebook post, right? Comment on a Facebook, oh, yay, I've supported the issue. I've made my contribution to it. So how do you really actually make your contribution to it? That's the big question. By participating in it, by speaking about it, and that's something I'm going to leave you with, a food for thought, by ensuring that you talk about it. In spite the labels, that you dare to talk about it in a classroom, that you dare to talk about it in front of your colleagues, that you dare to question, that you don't just let it pass. That when someone tells you that he belongs to a certain religion and that religion is likely to be, harboring terrorists, you stand up because it's the right thing to do. We have young, impressionable audience sitting here. You guys, you are the future. You will decide who will be as a country, who we are going to turn out to be as a country. Where and in which way are we going to head? तो क्या आप सत्ता के अधीन होकर कार्य करेंगे? Which means, are you going to be subjugated? And are you going to rely basically on what the government says and move forward? Are you going to trust government at its face value, or are you going to do something about it? Speak your mind, make sure that you are heard, is going to be completely up to you. Remember, every time something is happening around you, you're participating in an act, ask yourself one basic question perhaps. Are you doing it because it's the right thing to do? Are you staying silent because it's the right thing to do? Or because generations before you have done it? Or because the generations before you have done it, and so therefore you are letting it happen? Food for thought. Thank you very much.